intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey Star Trek League of fans, today I want to hit you with some tips, tricks, trades, etc. And this one's going to apply whether you're level 1 or level 100. And while that might not exist yet, that doesn't matter, because today we're going to talk about how to freeze, get rid of, etc. a chaser. If you are a low level, maybe this is because you're in faction space, you're trying to do an armada and you're tired of getting hit and tired of asking the bigs to take care of it. Or maybe you simply don't want to bother getting chased in augment system. Whatever the reason might be, or whatever level you might be, it's important to know how to do this. Some places you want to have a chaser. For example, that's the entire point of the Texas class systems up here. Other points you do not. So we're going to go over 3 methods today of how to take care of that. And yeah, we'll get it going. Let's start with the Picard Maneuver. Yeah, it's literally what we named it. So we're just going to head over here real quick. Won't take long to get there. We're gonna start with this one. So this one is probably the one I would say is the most common or the easiest one to do every single day. And when I say easy, it's just something that once you do it, it takes a little bit of time to get right, takes a little bit of practice, but if you've got the time, it's the most efficient way to do it. It's just simply going to freeze the hostile where it's at, and you never have to worry about it again. However, it can take the most time in terms of like what you have to actively do. And there are methods that are quicker, and we'll cover those as we look at the other 2 methods. But the premise around this one is we're going to fool the hostile into freezing and thinking we are somewhere we are not. So we're gonna go into here, and as soon as we see our guy spawn, we're gonna have to find him, because y'all know how that goes. Well, where is he? Well, we'll just speed up this until he gets here. Spawned in, finally. So what we're gonna do, this is a fast one, but we're going to click behind and hit go, and then real quick we're going to hit recall and then immediately stop. Then we don't touch anything. Do not move, do not do anything. What you want to wait for is you're waiting for this hostile to stop and the red ring to go away, and now you're free. Now you can do what you needed to do. So what just happened here? So what happened is we moved towards the hostile. You can even do the attack motion if you want, and the hostile is trying to get to where you are. So now it's predicting you've moved, you're going to hit that. And then when you hit recall and then you stop it really quickly, well, it confuses the sensors, I guess is the best way to put it if we're trying to keep it lore friendly here for Star Trek fans. And that causes it to go, well, they're not here anymore. They left if you didn't move. Now, had you have moved right after you did that, then the method would not have worked. So if you are, again, trying to get a hostile to freeze, this is an easy way to do it, but it is time consuming in the fact that you have to wait for the hostile to spawn. You have to complete the steps. Again, steps are pretty basic, but click right behind, right at where the hostile's at, head towards it, and then hit your recall button, hit that stop recall, and then go through that and wait for it to freeze. Because if you continue moving, then it'll simply retarget, it'll reacquire you. And I'll show you that here before we move on to the second method that we're going to talk about. We just got to wait for this to spawn again. All right, so let's back up. I didn't want to make y'all do the bad dancing again. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to stop, recall. All right, so we quit it, but now we're just going to move again. You see how it reacquired? So you have to stay still. You have to wait for the red rings to disappear and then for it to stop. Then you can move around the system freely. If you don't do that, then it's just going to find you again and come after you. So it is something that, takes 15-ish seconds to get done, but not too biggie. Let's move on to the second method. All right, so this is the 2-ship method. This is a similar idea. What we're going to do is we're going to bring 2 ships into a system really close together, because there is a timer of where a hostile will spawn that's a chaser, bounty hunter, whatever. So if we hit this system right here, we're just going to hit set course, and then we have another similarly timed hit. As long as it's within the same realm of about 10 seconds, you're going to then have only 1 chaser spawn. It's going to come after the first ship. When it comes after the first ship, you simply recall that first ship, and then your second ship can sit there free. Now, again, this is a timing thing, so this does take time. So like I said, we're going to now recall that first ship. There we go. Bye-bye. And as soon as it goes away, we're going to have nothing here. So as long as you're within, at about 10 seconds to bring them in, so you just time them together. So again, just click on the rim of a system and say, hey, this ship is going to take, let's just use another system. This was going to take 3 seconds to get there, but let's just say that was 30 seconds to get there. If it was going to take 30 seconds, then you just need the other one to get there, at 25. So that would be your first one. or 35, depending on which one you want to be first. Just get the first ship there and then have the other one arrive within 5 or 6 seconds afterwards. It will not pick up a bounty hunter, only the first one will inside that timer. So the 2-ship method just allows you to do something without ever having to hitting a hostile, or maybe, you know, it bugs out and you don't want to risk that chaser reactivating, which the first method with the Picard maneuver, maybe you moved and it kept going. This is an old school method that we've had for a long time, but I mean, it still works. And that justifies bringing it into this video. The 2-ship method is also a little bit more difficult because it does rely on 2 ships. So if you are trying to do this in a farther warp range system, let's say you're trying to do this in deep space and for whatever reason you're not tri-faction locked, well, that takes a lot of time to get there and you're having to have 2 ships with the warp range capable of doing it. So the 2-ship method has died off in favorability over time. That doesn't mean it's not effective. It just simply doesn't have the same level of usefulness that it used to. But let's recall, let's not spend Latinum on repairs. Let's recall, and then let's talk about the 3rd method, which is honestly pretty easy to understand. I'm gonna show you how to do it, but the 3rd method, straight up, we're gonna destroy the bounty hunter. Very similar to the 2-ship method, except we're going to get feisty. This is a little bit more difficult if you're lower level, but let's look at it. So we're going to head back to Texas class systems, and we're just going to send our Enterprise, and we'll send our Rotard. Again, this works with any ship. You just have to be able to destroy the hostile. So method 3 here, and to be clear, there are more than 3 methods to do this. I'm just giving you 3 that anybody can use, whether you're, again, level 1, level 100, something that is just simply accessible to all players. That way y'all can get rid of these chasers. Again, sometimes you don't want them in certain systems because you're trying to do armadas or something with your alliance, and it's just an annoying. I actually like chasers because it's an ability to auto grind, and auto grinding can be great for picking up, at least in my case, picking up a lot of ship experience, because these things, especially the higher you go, if you're a player working in a G4, G5, G6, what you're going to find is that, well, it takes a lot of ship XP to level these things up, a lot, and it's really annoying with how much you need. So we're going to move around, and once we get our chaser spawned, all we have to do simply with this method is destroy it with a 2nd ship. And once a ship's chaser has been destroyed, whether you destroy it, you get a higher level in your alliance destroy it, regardless, again, doesn't really matter who destroys it, it simply needs to be destroyed. So let's see if we can find a chaser, because there's a lot in this system. Which one spawned a chaser? There's one somewhere around. There's our chaser coming at the Enterprise A, or Enterprise D, let's verify that's the one. Yep, so we saw it adjust. So now we're just gonna come down here and attack it with the Rotaran. Rotaran will clear it out, and then there will not be another one that spawns. Now this is also something you could do. Let's say you're trying to really get under the skin of your hated rival. Destroy their chaser. If they're auto grinding in Texas space or augment space, destroy their chaser. And then they won't be able to get that, you know, ship experience that a lot of people sit here and grind for, as you can see players here doing. Yes, you have Texas class ships, but you'll often see other ships besides Texas class ships in here grinding, simply because they're taking advantage of these auto hostiles that spawn in at various levels. This is where you see G4, G5 players typically do it. And then for G3 players, you typically see them doing their auto grinding, like here in Yarda, which I think many of you saw earlier in the video, but if not, here you go. Look, we just see all around the system, and you can even see G4 and G5 folks here, which surprises me because, well, it's better to do the Texas systems, but you can also see a bunch of dead hostiles from all this. Scopely, I hope that's not ruining y'all's stability too much, but hey, ship experience is tough to get, and you get it in the ways that you can get it. So, 3 methods. The Picard Maneuver, again, I think is probably the most universal, easy for everybody to adopt into their game style. It just takes time to do it. The 2-ship method is the quickest, as in it's literally you get there, you pull it out, go put whatever on a node. Again, this is something we use a lot in augment space, and I still use it on my lower level accounts to get that done. Maybe I don't feel like doing this freezing of the chaser. Bam, that's done. And then last but certainly not least, you have the actually hit the ship method. So now I need somebody to hit the ship for that one. But we can recall these so we stop taking pointless damage because those ships have already been leveled up. But the basic premise here, like I said, 3 methods to get rid of a chaser, and maybe a little extra spicy tactics you can put in there as well if you're trying to, I don't know, annoy your buddies or your friends or your enemies. However, hopefully this helps you out. Like to put out content that helps out our new players because there's so many in the game. Again, numbers. Did y'all know we are over 260,000 players? There's more players today than there was 1 year ago today, which just shows, hey, the content's been better, and hopefully it stays that way with Wrath of Khan coming, hopefully in the near future. Would really love Wrath of Khan to be very soon because y'all know how I feel about it. I've even already had friends looking online at Etsy and places for cosplay costumes. You want to see Rev dressed up as Ricardo Montalcon? Well, maybe. Before that, though, live long and plunder. Stay safe for those Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Fleet Command video. Let me know what type of content you'd like to see, what could help you out, and share this out with your alliance and friends. And we'll see you on the next one.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.